everyone. Today I have a special guest all the way from Oslo, Norway. I'd like to welcome Irena. How are you today?
Hello, everyone. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. So, Irena, your native language is Russian, but you learned Sami while living in Norway. How did you become interested in learning this language?
Well, it's a funny story. I've lived in Norway for 5 years. So when I came to Norway for the first time, obviously I didn't speak Norwegian or Sami, and I had this strong wish to learn this language, and I really don't know why, and I didn't know any Sami people. I didn't know that much about the Sami culture or the language, but I just had a strong wish to learn it, and I thought, okay, I want to learn it, but first I have to learn Norwegian, so I did that, and shortly after I enrolled a Sami course, which was a collaboration between the Sami University College in Godageno and Sami House in Oslo, and it was an immersion 3 months course. And so yeah, as I said before, before that I didn't know any Sami people, or and I didn't have anyone to practice the language with or anything. So
But before moving to Norway, you had never had any experience with the language or had never heard about it before?
No, never, no. I mean, I knew that there were Sami people, but I didn't even know that there are, because there are actually 9 Sami languages, 9 different Sami languages. I really had no idea about that, and I think that most of the people living in Norway or in Scandinavia have just as much knowledge as I had. Because
So, in what countries is Sami spoken? Is it Norway, and is there any other place where they speak it as well?
Yeah, well, let's clarify straight away that there are 9 Sami languages, and the language that I speak is the biggest language of all the Sami languages. It's called Northern Sami. So there are different Sami languages spoken in different Scandinavian countries. In general, we can say that the Sami people live in Finland, Norway, Sweden, and Russia. And Northern Sami is spoken in Finland, Sweden, and Norway. And apart from Northern Sami, in Norway we have 3 official Sami languages, which are Southern Sami, Northern, and Lulle Sami. So here we have 3 languages, and then in Sweden they have some other languages, and in Finland some other ones, and then in Russia also some other ones.
Well, I had no idea that it covered such an extensive territory.
Yeah, right, and we're not talking about dialects, right? So there are 9 different languages. And then there are also dialects
within those languages. Another subgroup as well.
Right.
Wow. So total, how many number of speakers between all 9 languages?
Well, the Northern Sami has about 25,000 speakers, more or less, and then there are those minor languages. So I would say, I don't know, 35,000, in total of all the languages.
So is Sami related to the other Scandinavian languages, or is it its own language family?
No, it's not a European language. It's a Finno-Ugric language family, so it's related to Finnish, Hungarian, Estonian. I would say that the closest language is Finnish. But I get this question quite often, do you understand Finnish? Can you communicate with Finnish people? The answer is no. So sometimes there are some words that are just the same, and sometimes by accident I can understand the whole sentence without translation, but it doesn't happen that often. So I would say that
it's not mutually intelligible with Finnish then, even though there's some.
No, not really. The grammar is similar as well as Hungarian, but it doesn't really help you that much.
And have you ever tried to studying Finnish as well, or not yet?
Yeah, I have. It has always been my dream to learn Finnish. This, for the same reason as Sami. I don't know why. It just sounds really nice. And then I also met some Sami people from Finland. I even I was at the Sami festival. I just came back last Sunday, and today is Tuesday. So I tried my little Finnish knowledge on some of the Finnish Sami people at the festival, and they were they laughed because I know phrases like "I'm a woman" or "nice to meet you" and stuff. And I think that Finnish is a lot harder than Sami, because Sami has been it's not a European language, but it has been influenced by European languages like Norwegian
Mm-hmm.
and Swedish so much. So the grammar, or some like phrase structure is just like in Norwegian.
Okay.
So like
So
like
some
sometimes you
elements
just
mirror Norwegian a little bit.
right. So like because I think that Finnish has been like less influenced by those languages, though it seems harder, but the pronunciation seems really easy. But like yeah, I guess it's easier for me to learn Finnish as a Sami speaking person than for other people. But
Okay.
let's see where
So
this journey takes me.
is Sami have a difficult grammar, you would say, for someone that wants to learn it?
It depends on your prior knowledge of like depends on the other languages that I speak. Like my native language is Russian, so I speak a language that has cases. So like I have an idea of what like this concept, like what a case is. In Sami, it's not the same like in Russian or European languages. Cases are more like yeah, it's just different. Like usually we use prepositions in European languages in order to specify the location. Like I live in Norway. Like in Russian we we could use a case and a preposition, and then they just use cases instead of prepositions. That's what they usually do. So that's like one thing, and they have 7 cases, and they have the dual form. So like you speak like you, like we, us too, like you guys too, and then they too, and it's really important. Like there is the same thing in other languages like Arabic, for instance, but they don't really use it. In Sami, it's really important that you use that form. Otherwise, like sometimes people don't use it, and I'm like, I don't understand whom you're speaking about. Like, or there are more people than 2, or like sometimes people they say like us. Many people, and I'm like, but it's just 2 of us. Why are you saying that? So it's
called
like
the dual form, you said.
Yeah, the dual form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
So it's like in Sami, it's used, and it's really important that you use it. And then you have the verb conjugations in, for example, and you have to remember it all for the dual, for the present, for the past, and then there are some tenses, and like in that. So in that sense, it's a bit complex, I would say. Yeah, I mean it's not easy. It's not definitely not the easiest language that I've learned, and I still don't speak it that well, like grammatically. I would say like it takes time, but it's not that super hard as people think.
So you think is it a popular language to learn for people living in Norway, or do not many Norwegians try to learn it?
Well, there are Norwegians with Sami heritage that want to learn it, and now the interest for the language has increased, and more, especially young people, want to learn it to take their language back, the language of their ancestors, because before it was like literally almost forbidden to speak Sami, and but there are also, I guess that there are some Norwegians with no Sami heritage that want to learn it. I've met like how many? 2.
Okay.
And I know that there are a lot more. They write about them in the media, and then there is also a small group of foreigners, like me, for instance, who hear about the language and think it's beautiful.
But compared to Norwegian, it's much more complicated then.
Definitely, because Norwegian is one of the easiest languages that I've ever learned, and it doesn't have that complex grammar,
the cases and everything like that.
Right, and it's very similar. Like the vocabulary is very similar to English, and the Sami. The thing is that it's an indigenous language, and they have a lot of like indigenous concepts. For example, months, like in Sami, it's totally different. And then what else? They have for a lot of modern terms, like for instance, computer, or I don't know, like
browsing the internet or something.
Whatever. Now internet is the same. But yeah, like some words that you think is just the same in any language. Like many of those words are different in Sami, but the way they are, like it makes sense. For example, a computer is diktor, and dihtit is a verb that means to know. So diktor is like a computer is the thing that knows. Okay. So like it makes it makes sense. It's not that difficult, but like. It's just at first you're taken aback by the amount of words that you have to learn, because like there is no help for you. Like you can't use
not a lot of common words.
Right.
Borrowed words.
Yeah.
So, what does the Sami community do to help preserve their language? You said they have festivals throughout the year. Do they also have their own, like literature, their own music that they produce?
Definitely, I think that like lately, in the past years, the Sami music has become a lot more popular, both among the Scandinavians and internationally. And there are renowned Sami artists like Mari Boine or Sofia Janok. Many people tell me like, ah, you speak Sami. I know about Sofia Janok. Like
Mm.
she's really famous. And then there are also some smaller artists. And then there are artists singing in all the Sami languages. There are artists singing in Inari Sami, which is spoken about 200 people in
Wow.
South Sami. And then there is a girl, one of my favorite artists, that sings in Ume Sami, which is spoken by about maybe 20 people.
Oh wow. So only
Yeah.
20 people would understand what she's singing.
Not quite, because like I've been listening to her songs for quite a while, and I've listened to them so many times that I've actually learned how to understand her, and I talk to her in real life, and I asked her, "Do you want me? I want to say something to you. Do you want me to speak Norwegian or Sami?" And she said, "No, no, speak Sami to me. I understand." So I spoke in my Sami, and she replied to me in her Sami, and we kind of understood each other. It's like the Sami that she speaks, it's a mix of other Sami languages, but it's I mean, they are in the same language family, like it's Sami language family. So like if you really try hard, you can
understand each other.
Yeah, but you can't. We probably couldn't have a deep conversation about life and stuff. Like we couldn't talk for more than 5 minutes, I guess. But yeah. So what else do they do? There is like program called Sami Vaivisere. It's in Norwegian. It's like pathfinders. So there are young people, usually like 4 people. Like for example, now there are new pathfinders, 2 boys and 2 girls, and then they travel around Norway. I think they have the same in Finland, and they talk to kids in schools, and they tell
Okay,
more
to
about the
like
Sami
raise
culture.
awareness about the language throughout the
Right,
country.
exactly. Not about the culture in general, because there is very little that is being taught in Norwegian schools about the Sami people. So the knowledge, the level of ignorance is enormous. Sometimes I'm really amazed that
So-
Norwegians know so little.
So generally, Sami isn't really considered to be part of Norwegian culture. It's its own entity.
Well, the Sami people, I think, definitely
Consider
consider
themselves.
themselves to be a part of Norwegian culture, because they are the original people. They are the indigenous people. They are the ones who came first. But by many Norwegians, like it's because
It's
of the
more of a
past.
more considered like a foreign culture to them, I would say.
Right, because of the like it has been stigmatized over years. So, and like now it has become a lot better, but the Norwegians still, like, some of them carry this like attitude, like that there is the Sami culture is not that important, or the Sami culture is something that is not worth attention, or they are just like separatists, and they want their own country or their own blah blah, or they want money from the state or whatever, which is of course not true. They are just
I think
want
probably
to
a
be
lot of
themselves.
countries have the same type of mentality towards the indigenous tribes or indigenous populations.
Exactly. I mean, of course, here, like, the situation is a lot better than in other countries, like in Latin America, or I was at a Sami, no, not a Sami festival, an indigenous festival, which is located in the Sami area, called the Ridorido. And the focus this year was people from Taiwan, indigenous people from Taiwan. And it's like really interesting. They're like, they're like completely from another part of the world, and like still we found like so many similarities. And they said that the government doesn't recognize them, and there is a little that's being done about preserving the languages, and etc. 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 And yeah, I mean, we all have challenges. Like, I think that indigenous people all over the world, but the Samis are definitely I would say, in a better position.
Well,
but not like it's not like ideal, especially the Sami people in Finland. I think that they have a lot to struggle with.
A lot more challenges than the Sami people in Norway.
A lot more challenges than the Samis in Norway and Sweden.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And if someone wants to start learning Sami or to find out more information about the language, is there any website where they can go, or where can they find more resources about it?
Well, there is a collection collection of links that I've made at omniglot.com. If you go to Northern Sami, and then there is also there are some links to other Sami languages. Then what else? There is I'm working on an application with my friends from Language Boost, and there's going to be an application both in English and Sami
Mm-hmm.
available for people to like. For on a basic level, like up to A2 or something. So, and I'm really happy that it's in English, so that people who don't speak Norwegian, Finnish, or Swedish can also benefit from it. Like, I think that in order to learn Sami, you don't need to speak any of the majority languages that we have here. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I think Omniglot is
Omniglot is the best resource probably for someone.
Yeah, because I tried to gather like all the resources that I know about. So yeah.
Okay, really cool. And before we leave, Irena, could you give us an example of what this language sounds like for those of us who have never heard it? Could you maybe tell us about something that you like about Sami culture in Sami?
Sure. Massa mun liikun saamikulttuurassa alltså beras le huidehalas sapmelatsede ja folki ja att dalle hui vågas att dabbalats alltså sapmelats le stora beras ja odu folki ja det satte fitnet gosis ja vot nu ja dalle bahavun mun jakkan att alltså dakar majoriteten kulturas ovdje merka riktigt alltså dađa da je prošla eilet nu ja goro stora kaupungistele aina stora vo hastalus mutta mun jakkan että där hui finis att sapnat aina dåligt dan vero.
Okay. Wow, it has a very cool rhythm to it that I like.
Thank you. What I said was that what I like about the Sami culture that is very family oriented.
Okay, so very traditional.
That's like very very short and then I just explained a bit more about it.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you for your time, and I hope that more people start learning Sami, and if so, they could go to omniglot.com and find more resources.
Thank you.